Delvin Rodriquez, 26-5-3 with 14 KOs. He was born in Santiago, Dominican Republic, moved to Danbury, Connecticut when he was a very young man, and he knows that this is the opportunity of a lifetime after what he calls fights that he felt he won, but he was robbed.
He is 2-3-1 in his last 6 fights. You might say to yourself, really? And he's fighting for a world title? Let me tell you something. He could easily be 6-0 during that period. A number of very, very close and controversial decisions. A couple were extraordinarily bad. And he even told us, he said, there were times after those decisions, after I'd spent months getting ready for a fight, with all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes with it, that I had to think, do I want to even commit to this? But he has, and now he has an opportunity tonight to win a title and put himself in a very good position, in a very talented division at 154 pounds.
Rodriguez telling us he has a new team. This will be his 3rd fight with his new team, manager and trainer. They've had a great camp every time. And he knows that in order to beat a young up-and-coming champion like Austin Trout, he is going to have to be at his best, and he's literally going to have to take it from him because he doesn't expect to get a lot of support from the judges, especially after some of his past experiences. Delvin Rodriguez ready to face this man. Austin, no doubt, Trout from Las Cruces, New Mexico, undefeated, 24-0, 14 KOs. He's 3-0 in world championship fights with 1 knockout. He's a 6-year pro.
He was a decorated amateur. He has fought his way to a title in the 154-pound division, and you made the point, Gus. Certainly the least known of American champs who are undefeated. But he wants to change that tonight. We had him on Showbox against Frank Laporto in his last fight. He put on a powerful performance against an awkward opponent. Tonight, facing someone much better in Delvin Rodriguez, and this could be the coming out party for Austin Trout, but Rodriguez has something to say about that.
So Austin Trout, 2004 Olympic alternate. He was the 2004 United States national champion. No doubt Trout. And the question is he a good catch?
I was afraid you were going to say that.
And that brings us to the tail of the tape. 12 rounds in the super welterweight division for the WBA world title.
For Austin Trout, that reach advantage could be very, very significant because he is just a superb boxer puncher, and he will try and use that reach advantage effectively against Rodriguez, who, by the way, sometimes likes to fight on the outside himself.
So we are ready for our 2nd fight of the evening. The WBA Super Welterweight Championship, Austin Trout versus Delvin Rodriguez. For the introductions, let's go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Home Depot Center here in Carson, California, at this time we present the 2nd of our World Championship attractions. It is brought to you by AT Entertainment, Golden Boy Promotions, and Gary Shaw Productions, along with Showtime. And sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, AT&T, rethink possible. This world title is presented in conjunction with Cohen Promotions and Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing, and is sanctioned by the WBA, President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Bob Mack. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring from ringside. From Huntington Beach, California, Jerry Cantu. From Chula Vista, California, Alejandro Rochin. And from Richmond, California, Marshall Walker. And a referee in charge, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Tony Krebs. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, fighting out of Danbury, Connecticut by way of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. He weighed in at a trim and ready 151 pounds with a record of 26 wins, 5 losses, and 3 draws. He has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his second attempt at a world title, please welcome the WBA number 3 ranked super welterweight in the world, introducing Delvin Rodriquez. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with zebra trunks, trim trunks, hailing from Las Cruces, New Mexico. He weighed in at 152 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 24 wins, no losses, 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making his 3rd defense of his title. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated WBA Super Welterweight Champion of the World, introducing Austin, no doubt, Trout. Once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Tony Krebs.
Gentlemen, I want you to obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves and go back and wait for the bell. Good luck. Thanks, Jimmy.
12 rounds, a super welterweight division on the line, the WBA World Championship. Delvin Rodriquez, a 13-year pro with the opportunity of a lifetime against the up-and-comer Austin, no doubt, Trout, defending his title. Once again, big fights lie ahead for Trout if he can get past the tough Rodriquez.
Several very interesting things about this fight. For Delvin Rodriquez, his last 2 fights against Pavel Volek, one of them the fight of the year, were against a man who is just as different from Austin Trout as you could possibly be. He's a small fighter that comes in flailing away, landing lots of punches, and it's a total brawl on the inside. Austin Trout, a stylish lefty who fights tall and fights from the outside.
And against Volek, a draw in the first fight. And in the second fight, the most recent fight for Rodriquez, a 10-round decision in the rematch. And so for Rodriquez, in order to train for a fighter like Austin Trout, they brought in Sekou Powell for sparring.
And of course, a terrific left-handed fighter, a big power puncher, but also a very good technician. And you know, if you want to make for the folks that want to make a case for Delvin Rodriquez in this fight, he beat 2 very good lefties, Mike Arnaudis and Shimon Alvarez, guys with slickness and skill. So he's had wins against left-handers like Austin Trout. We saw against Laporto on Showbox, a fight I was privileged to do with Steve Farhood, that Trout has some pop in his punches. He took Laporto out, and he can punch.
Stopped Laporto in the 6th round with a right hand on November 11th. And he's defended his title in some obscure places. Mexico, been down there a couple of times.
Had to go there to win the title against Rigoberto Alvarez, the brother of Canelo Alvarez.
Defended the title for the first time, outpointing David Lopez in June. That fight not on American television. So when you look at Austin Trout, people say that he is the best champion that you never really hear about. And here, having the opportunity to fight on the undercard of the Tarver Coyote fight with potentially big fights ahead of him. They like his clean-cut appeal. Mom's former military nurse.
He is a young man who embodies what you like in an athlete, as is Delvin Rodriquez, by the way. You know, you can't find 2 young men that you would want to be around more. Both articulate, both interesting, and both very focused. Right now, it's been a feeling out process here in round one.
Time.
So the end of round one, as Trout goes back to his corner, and now what are the keys?
Well, for Austin Trout, controlling distance is important. He did that in round one. Did not throw many combinations. That is going to be important for him. And he's got to use the angles against Delvin Rodriquez if Rodriquez decides to come forward, which he didn't in round one. For Rodriquez, he did not jab with conviction in round one. He pawed with that punch, but of course there's plenty of time for him to get that going. And I do think he's going to have to get on the inside at some point in this fight, and I think the left hook is going to be his power weapon of choice in this fight.
Rodriquez agreeing with you in our fighter meeting, saying, I mean, you asked him, Al, you said it's safe to say that this is the biggest night you've seen in boxing, and he agreed with you 100%.
Yeah, immediately. He said, yeah, there's no question about it. This is the biggest stage for him. It's a title at stake, and he wants to prove that he's more than just somebody who can be known as a guy that got bad decisions.
He said, my last two opponents are miles apart, but I fought all kinds of styles, boxers, punchers, lefties. He said, in boxing, you don't have time to think. You have to react to what's in front of you. So when I get in with Austin Trout, that's when I'll know. Trout, on the other hand, saying that Rodriquez can bring the best out of me. We want to showcase my talent, and this is another coming out party, especially on national television. Round two scheduled for 12. Austin Trout in the zebra stripe trunks. Delvin Rodriquez in the white and blue. Trout the champion, the WBA world title holder in the super welterweight division.
And this fight is being fought at a slightly slower pace than our first one. You know, it's possible that by the time this fight is over, the number of punches thrown by Leo Santa Cruz may eclipse the number thrown by both these fighters. We hope that's not
combined.
Yeah, combined. We hope that's not the case. And now they're going after it a little bit. And it's important, I think, for both these men to make a statement here tonight, especially important for Austin Trout. Rodriquez, the W is the key element for him, but Trout wants to make a statement. Some people think of him as just a slick boxer who will not make marquee, interesting fights. Louis Burke, the trainer of Austin Trout, a very fine fighter himself. Oh, nice right by Rodriquez. He has found a home for that punch. Louis Burke doesn't want Austin Trout in wars, though. He said, I want him to be aggressive and I want him to throw punches. But I was in a lot of wars as a fighter. I don't want that for this young man. I want a long career for him. Right now, Rodriquez has landed better power punches here in round two, and he's found a home for the right hand.
Trout going to the body with the straight left hand. Starting to become more aggressive now after getting tagged with that short right by Delvin Rodriquez. Rodriquez fighting out of Danbury, Connecticut. Raised by his mom. When he was in the Dominican Republic, he grew up on a farm before moving to Danbury. Took up boxing when he got to the United States. Eight seconds remaining in the second round, scheduled for 12 super welterweights in the ring, 154.